Alright, when I was a kid, there was this huge hit of a toy called Masters of the Universe. I'm sure you've probably heard of it, but it got so ridiculous sometimes. I always wondered, like, who are the dudes sitting around designing these things? Like, they have boardroom meetings about this? You know, at first it was pretty normal. They had He-Man and Man-at-Arms and Skeletor, Beast-Man. It all seemed pretty cool. They were huge compared to other little toys at the time. Castle Grayskull was the best. It was so cool. And then things started getting weird. First there was Merman. Now Merman was just weird to begin with. I wasn't sure if he was a swamp creature or what. He had a sword that looked like a corn on the cob and that ridiculous look on his face. And then I was stoked to get this one called Stinkor, and he seriously stank. Like, he smelled like a skunk. The toy itself was like doused and coated in some sort of weird stinky stuff, and I thought to myself, I was only 12 or something at the time, but I thought, like, this is insane. Like, these guys went out of their way to make this toy that stinks on purpose. Like, you could not put that in your backpack and bring it to school. It stank so much. You would reek like a skunk. Then Ram Man showed up on the shelves. He was different.
Open the jaw bridge.
The powers of evil control Castle Grayskull.
Oh yeah, Dad, watch Ram Man's power. I'll get us inside, He-Man.
Ram Man, He-Man, and Castle Grayskull, each sold separately. You have to put the castle together.
Ram Man, use your head. I just did. Not that way. We have a prisoner.
Good. Who's the prisoner?
You are, because we have the power.
Oh, no. Ram Man and He-Man from the Masters of the Universe collection, each sold separately. Castle Grayskull also sold separately from Mattel. From the Masters of the Universe, Snout Spout. His knockout nose knocks evil out.
It's Hordak.
Figures sold separately. Snout Spout, heroic hose nose.
Over time, the characters got stupider and weirder and stinkier. This little Moss Man one, he smelled like pine needles. These guys were just coming up with any and every idea that they could for a new figurine. And it seemed like they were messing with us. Like, kids those days, like, some of the new inventions were kind of cool, but it was almost like they were laughing at us. Like, look at this stupid toy we invented. And we thought that they had lost their minds. Like, this was no longer real. You know, at the time there was like Star Wars and G.I. Joe and other things like that. But this was so different. It was stupider than any cartoon that was on at the time even.
Comets from the sky bring allies in disguise. They've landed.
Bring on the evil horde.
Stondar, Rock-On, He-Man, and Grizzlor figures each sold separately. Stondar, Rock-On, rocks you transform to surprise.
Hey, Grizzlor, who's that? Rock on! Stondar! My friends have landed. We'll crush the evil horde.
Stondar and Rock-On, new from the Masters of the Universe. Action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
You know, in a way, I kind of wish that toy companies were like this nowadays. Like, Stondar and Rock-On. Like, come on. God. Like, if toys nowadays were like this, they'd be coming up with rare, exciting, weird new toys that no one had ever thought of before and pushing the limits of weirdness. I mean, it was kind of cool because everything else was so generic, you know, like, Oh, we all know Star Wars figurines and little army figures and this and that, but this stuff was out of this world, and I kind of wanted to work there. After a while, I was like, I want to give these guys some new ideas, because obviously they're coming up with some interesting things to create. And man, it seemed like it would have been a cool idea to give them some of our own childish ideas at the time.
Spike.
And now, Spike, let's see how He-Man likes your... Ow! Spike!
Skeletor, Spikor, and He-Man figures each sold separately.
Spike.
No one can stop the spike-studded armor of the mighty Spikor! Not even me, you muscle-bound porcupine! Not even you, He-Man!
Spikor is new from the Masters of the Universe collection. Other action figures each sold separately from Mattel.
Spikor, really? Come on, with an extendy hand. They had electric ones eventually, ones that were like clear plastic that you could see through. It was like Electro He-Man and other ridiculous ones that they came up with, and it got worse and worse, but eventually the line totally tanked. And I wonder if these old school toys had anything to do with people of Marvel nowadays coming up with they got all the classic superheroes like Iron Man and Thor and Spider-Man and all that, but I wonder if they had anything to do with the ideas of Thanos and stuff like that. Like, maybe, I don't know. Well, that's about all I've got to say about He-Man for today. Let me know in the comments what you think a good He-Man would have been, and come up with the most ridiculous name that you can, because they did. Stinkor, come on, Moss Man, very uncreative, stupid names that were actually the best ideas at the time, because they were so dumb. It was like these old dudes in suits making toys for little kids, and we ate it up. We thought it was wonderful. Let me know in the comments what you think a new He-Man figurine could have been. Maybe you can talk to Mattel. There's a whole new line of these things now, actually. They started remaking them for collector's editions. They're a little bit newer, but they're still the same ones. I mean, it was a big part of my childhood. They were awesome. Better than anything.